Today, Avalanche adds native Bitcoin support to its platform. Binance US CEO Brian Shroder explains why the exchange decided to cut Bitcoin trading fees. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Major cryptocurrencies are trading flat today. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin was worth about $20,000, and Ether traded just below $1,100. Meanwhile, Avalanche's AVAX tokens surged today. The platform added native support for Bitcoin, and the move caused the platform's token to pop as much as 7% after the announcement. Okay, we're jumping right into our main story of the day. Crypto World's Kate Rooney caught up with Binance US CEO Brian Shroder to ask about the exchange's decision to cut Bitcoin trading fees, his reaction to crypto winter, and more.
Binance US, so this is the American affiliate of the largest global crypto exchange, offering zero-fee trading for Bitcoin. How's that going to happen, and how are you making money on this?
So I think that, we, since our inception, have been known as the low-cost leaders in this space. And with this announcement, what we wanted to do is establish ourselves as the very clear world leaders in pricing. And so, what is, I think, completely innovative about what we're doing is it's driving more value to our end customers, which is precisely the people that we had in mind when we made the announcement. I think in the crypto space itself, there is not a lot of user education around pricing, right? So not many people know that when they trade, for example, on Coinbase's retail app using like a debit card or credit card to buy a Bitcoin, they could be charged up to 4% for that transaction. Now with Binance US, you are charged absolutely zero, no hidden fees, just free. And we feel this is a very exciting time for us to come out and put that message out there and to drive new user growth.
So how has a company like Coinbase been able to charge 4%? Is it because there's not other US-based options? Why would somebody pay 4% on a crypto trade?
It's a great question. I feel like most people don't know that they're paying 4%. And I think to answer your question of why, I think Coinbase has been around for over 10 years. We launched our app in January 2020, so we're about 2.5 years old. We also have not done any marketing historically. So you've never seen a Binance US Facebook ad or Instagram ad. We've kind of plowed that into ensuring that we can keep our fees as low as possible.
And on the back end, so I know Robinhood is another stock exchange app or trading app that doesn't charge fees and also has the same model on crypto, but does sort of rebates on the back end. Is that the case here with Binance? Are you making money on the back end?
No. So the Robinhood model is very different because what they do is they effectively go out to the market. They buy $98 worth of Bitcoin for themselves, and then they sell it to the retail user for $100, right? So they actually take a $2 spread. At Binance US, we actually have an open order book. So if you download the Binance US app and you actually look at the trading platform, you can actually see all the open buy and sell orders. And then the market price is, when the two match. And so we as Binance US actually don't get involved in the transaction at all. So it's a Binance US user transacting with a Binance US user. And for Bitcoin, it's now completely free.
So you guys are sort of the matchmaker in this. And you don't take take nothing. You take no spread here.
Correct. Without question, we are the best platform in the world to buy Bitcoin for that reason, because there's no fees, no commission, and we do not take a spread.
And so are you losing money? Are you seeing this as sort of a loss leader, but a way to add customers at the same time?
So we saw this as a way to, earn customers, right? So by having one coin, Bitcoin, the OG, the original, out there at zero, we see it as an opportunity to allow users to come on our platform, get to know us better, and get to see kind of all of the other coins and tokens that we have on our platform. We have over 100 trading right now. And then recently, we're starting to expand into additional products and services. So just this month, we launched our staking platform, which is now live with multiple assets and growing kind of every month with new ones.
And so you mentioned staking. We'll get back to that, but I wonder if you're planning to expand this to other cryptocurrencies beyond just Bitcoin.
So I think that for our intents and purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to study what happens. So we're going to study what happens in the market. We're going to study what happens with institution as well as retail adoption. And then based on what we see in the data, we'll make decisions around whether or not we should move other assets into our zero pricing tier.
Got it. Got it. And as far as the competition here with Coinbase and others, do you expect this to put some pressure on the rest of the industry to lower fees?
I hope so. I think that this is, what we want users in the industry to appreciate, right? And I think that by coming out there and announcing kind of our free Bitcoin trading, hopefully what it does is it actually encourages users to actually educate themselves on how much they are being charged on the various platforms. And I would find it very hard to believe that once users educate themselves on being charged up to 4% on Coinbase and 0% on Binance US, that they wouldn't choose us over them.
And talk about the strategy for Binance to move into the US. We've seen other global crypto companies, Crypto.com, FTX, really make a play at the US base of users and traders. Why is that important to Binance more broadly? And talk about the competition between a lot of the global players that seem to really be spending and making an effort to get some of the US users.
Yeah, so we as Binance US are a separate legal entity from Binance.com. We were created, about 2.5 years ago for the explicit purpose of being a regulated and licensed entity here in the United States. We are not a subsidiary of Binance. They actually don't own any percentage of us. What we share in common with them is basically two themes. So one is a common founder. So CZ is founder and CEO of Binance.com. CZ is founder and chairman of the board of Binance.us. So he's obviously running that amazing company globally. He's in his board seat capacity here on our side. And then the second theme that ties us together is, we're a Delaware C Corp. Our headquarters is actually in Palo Alto. And so we as a corporation have entered into a series of legal and licensing agreements with the Binance.com entity. And so we have licenses for the Matchbox platform, which is basically where crypto buyers meet crypto sellers, wallet custody, and then obviously the name Binance here in the US.
So have you noticed, though, more competition in the U.S. market? So Binance, like you said, is similar founder, not necessarily a subsidiary, but familiar with Binance as a global company and what some of the other players out there are doing. Are you seeing that, though, as far as more competition from some of the global exchanges?
So I think that where we have shined is actually in the Binance brand name and the Binance technology, right? So what we're able to do through our licensing agreement is bring technology that effectively powers 60-70% of the world's crypto platform, and yet we as Binance US can customize and package it uniquely for American users. And so that sort of brand name prestige in the consumer space has been amazing in terms of adoption. You walk around with a Binance t-shirt, you find a lot of rabid fans coming up and sharing their excitement for the brand.
Got it. And you mentioned staking. That has been, or at least some of these higher yielding products and features on certain apps. It's been a little bit controversial lately with what's gone on with Terra USD, what's gone on with Luna. Any worry about offering something like that to a retail user base in the US based on either regulators looking at this and having questions, or just the risk of having some of these higher yielding options where there's not always a lot of disclosure on the back end?
Yeah, so we obviously always encourage users to do their own research, and to the extent that we can be involved in user education and according to facts and figures and backgrounds, we obviously do that through a variety of different means. What we're focused on in the staking platform is ensuring that we are offering the best yields. And so when you look at some of the assets that we currently have compared to, for example, Gemini, some of the assets that we are offer 17x the amount of yield that Gemini is doing. And so again, we're trying to create this brand promise for Binance US, where we are the low cost, high yield, best consumer experience in the United States.
But do you worry at all about where that yield is coming from?
So each token project, right, is unique in terms of its governance model, in terms of its token economics, in terms of how it stakes. And so you actually have to look at each asset independently, which is why we have a very robust listing process that starts with research. It looks at kind of all the components that go into those particular details. And then we ourselves, right, have the legal opinions both internally and externally for all coins and tokens on our projects. And then ultimately it has to go to a committee and unanimously voted before it's listed on our platform.
And what was the effect of Luna and Terra and that fallout? Did you see any liquidity issues or any issues at all on Binance US as a result of that?
So we never listed Luna. So Luna was not a coin or token traded on our platform. And then when you look at kind of some of the liquidity issues that are happening in the market today with like Celsius or BlockFi, we are not exposed to those. And that is because we never had margin trading on our platform. We never lent out any assets and we never took any loans.
Got it. And you've seen people like Sam Bankman-Fried step up as sort of the lender of last resort in crypto. Is that ever something that Binance would do? You know, step in and offer a loan or really a lifeline to some of your peers and other companies that might be in a crisis right now?
So, you know, we just completed our capital raise in April. Our seed round, we raised over 200 million on a 4.5 billion valuation. So we are entering this crypto winter from a position of strength. So we have a lot of fresh powder, and given the market circumstances, there are many M&A opportunities that we are consistently evaluating. Several we were looking at this week. Ultimately, we want to ensure that any sort of acquisition that we do is obviously good for the company, good for our users.
Is that more of an opportunity now as valuations come down? If you've got the cash, is this the time to spend it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it is certainly more of an opportunity now than it was before. Previously, when we were looking at acquisition targets, you know, months ago, the valuations did not make sense, which is why we never pulled the trigger on anything. But now it's starting to become really interesting.
Interesting. What about hiring? We've seen BlockFi that we mentioned earlier, Coinbase scaling back and in some cases laying off a pretty big percentage of their employee base. Is that something Binance is considering? And how are you thinking about your employee base right now?
No, we're actually growing, right? So unlike Coinbase laying off over 1,000 workers, Gemini is laying off 10%, Crypto.com laying off more. We're actually continuing to grow and hire. And so, as I mentioned, you know, we just launched outside of our first kind of big product out of spot trading this month in staking. We will launch many more products and services over the upcoming months. In order to do that, we need really talented people. And so every day we are receiving applicants from, you know, the Coinbases of the world, and we are interviewing them and hiring them. Our product and tech team alone will double by the end of the year. So we are on an upward trajectory.
Wow, product and tech doubling by the end of the year.
Yes.
And what about some of this contagion going on in crypto markets? Is there anything happening with either Celsius, BlockFi, or even the hedge funds that could affect Binance US and that has you worried going forward?
So we're pretty protected as our own business from kind of the contagion. Obviously, we are very concerned about our users who still have assets on those platforms. But I think that overall, when you reflect back on this period of time, I think that it will be seen as a period of time when effectively excess was removed from the market, and it allows kind of the real competitors to emerge. And those are the ones that are focusing on delivering value to customers in a sustainable way. And so that is what we're focused on, is we're focused on building a really great, long-lasting business.
If prices don't recover, is there a thought that retail activity, trading activity, which is really the bread and butter for a lot of these crypto exchanges, that could pull back and affect your business?
I think that, you know, crypto is a cyclical industry. And so we have been through many crypto winters before. We will be through many crypto winters in the future. So it's just, you know, riding out this duration. And we're taking this quiet time to do everything right in terms of obviously changing our pricing model to give more value back to our users, making our platform more attractive. We're investing heavily in customer support resources and building an infrastructure that is scalable such that when the crypto bull market starts again, that we will be uniquely positioned to take advantage of it. We are very confident that there's no way that we would emerge from this crypto winter in a not stronger position.
What do you think needs to happen in order for markets to recover here? It seems to be very macro related and what's happening with the Fed. Anything in particular that you think could shake markets out of this downturn right now?
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with you that it is very macro related, and so I think that we collectively, equities, crypto, everyone are kind of in this together, and I'm not paid for prognosticating, but what we're doing is doing all the right things that when it happens, when the bull market recovers, that we're going to be ready to ride it again.
And just Binance US, you mentioned some of the leverage that's out there. Do you guys offer any sort of margin, or how do you think about that in terms of investor protection?
We do not. We do not offer any margin. So what the other firms have done is they basically took user assets and then they lent them out to others and then passed on a portion of that fee to the users. The assets that our users bring to our platform, we just custody for them. So we keep it for them safe and do not lend it out.
Got it. And they cannot take on margin themselves individually. Is that right?
Correct. We do not currently offer margin products on our platform.
What do you think about that as, a policy? Obviously, Binance US hasn't gone that direction. The global exchanges have and do tend to offer that. Is that a risk, in a downturn for a lot of traders who may be relatively new to crypto markets and to trading in general? How have you thought about that in terms of what it means for the overall risk in crypto?
I mean, certainly, and you see the outcomes of that risk playing out right in real time right now. I think that where we are interested in experimenting is perhaps in some future state on institutional investors. So that would be kind of where we would start if we were to ever get into margin trading. About 70% of our volume today actually comes from institutions, and that is actually a growth area for us. Last month, we had our all-time high in terms of new institutions coming on board the platform, and we are consistently seeing some very big names out, many actually from traditional finance that are joining our platform now. And I think that post this zero Bitcoin trading option, we're going to have another record month for institutional adoption.
Are you seeing new institutions, or is it institutions leaving existing platforms and moving over to Binance?
It's both. It's both. So we definitely have institutions that are taking a better understanding at their fiduciary responsibilities and comparing Binance US with a Coinbase platform. And from a fiduciary perspective, obviously, we are the right choice. And then we are seeing traditional finance institutions coming on our platform as well. So some key brand names, which is obviously very exciting to see because it kind of strengthens the narrative around broader crypto adoption.
Any plans to go public? Binance US, what should we expect in the next 12, 18 months here?
Yeah, so we were pretty clear with our investors that we have a time horizon of about 2 to 3 years for IPO. And so that is kind of what we're sticking to, and everything is going well in that direction.
Is it a benefit right now to be a private company and not have to watch the stock price when a lot of these other crypto and high growth tech companies are getting hit lately?
I think there's absolute benefits to being a private company. It allows us to move quicker, take advantage of things, not have to respond to kind of everything that we do with some analyst backups. But obviously, there are tremendous benefits of being a publicly traded company as well. And so we look forward to growing up and getting there.
Okay, that's all for today, but you can find that full interview and more over at cnbc.com/cryptoworld. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.